Chris, good to see you. After back-to-back defeats, is it helpful, positive to have a quick turnaround and another game to try and bounce back so quickly?
Yes, definitely. That was my feeling after the game and yesterday, that you don't have to dwell on it for too long because we've got another game to look forward to. So I think when you are like that, it's good to get going again.
You've probably watched the game back a couple of times Tuesday. Is the overriding frustration the same? Is it that we just didn't quite perform to the levels that we know that we're capable of?
Yeah, I think looking at the game again, it didn't seem too different from the initial feel. We were below our level, I think, across the board. I don't think there was a player that was at their optimal level. I don't think as a team we were near our level, and I think it was probably one of our poorer away performances. I think the game looked too much like a QPR game. They were a physical, big team and became quite scrappy, and they got the better of us. We were second best in that a lot of the game. Again, we had periods of control without creating too much, and it wasn't until the last 15 minutes we started to really, look a bit more like ourselves, and then obviously get the goal, and you say, well, that could be a really good point, and then it slips away from us. So looking at it, and we've gone through it as a team with a squad, it wasn't where we want to be, and we won't pick up results if we play like that away from home.
Do you think we've been on the wrong end of certain moments in games, particularly away from home? I think of conceding before half-time on Tuesday, same at Middlesbrough, Bristol City as well. If we can just sort those moments out in games, things might turn for us. Yeah,
definitely. I think over the course of the season, I think no doubt our away form will pick up, and we will get results and everything like that. I think we have conceded the first goal in 7 away games in the first half. I think it's something like that, the ones. And I think from my point of view, it's more than just that. It's the personality we're playing with away from home. I think we need to play a little bit more devilment. I think in our away performances, a little bit more thrive in these environments more, that we want to silence a home crowd and really get control of the game and make it look like a Birmingham team's on the pitch, and just embrace it a little bit more. I think we can be a little bit timid at times, and that isn't really us, So, and I think playing with that more personality, which we can do, there's no doubt about it, would help us in these places, because it's difficult away from home, as we've had some pretty good teams come to us in recent weeks, and we're well beaten. It's hard away from home. So, but I do think there's a lot of room for us to grow in that area. So it's not something that there's no answers to, or we're just not going to be good away. There's a lot for us to improve than we can do. I think psychologically it's something we need to address, and something I'll look more into deeper next week, leading into the away game. I think this week we're obviously back at home again, so it's a slightly different few days, but something we need to look into.
But it's also important to remember that we have had plenty of positive moments away from home already this season. It's hard to sometimes forget that.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I'm not seeing teams that are outplaying us. I'm not seeing teams that are looking like they're a lot better than us, or at the end of the season they're going to be well ahead of us. So I think we do a lot of things well, but not enough sometimes away from home. So as I've said, we're more than capable of winning. We have won away, and we will win more games away. I've got no doubt about that. But they're fine margins, but they're critical moments. So the goal on the weekend, as an example, against QPR as an example, was just before half time, and from a set piece, and we've been pretty good defensively from set pieces across the board, but a lot of these goals are coming away from home. Like the West Brom was a long throw in, Coventry was a long throw in, this was a set piece. So these are moments that we can handle a little bit better, and sometimes it's the second phase of that corner, not actually the one itself. So things we have been pretty good at, I would say. For not being the biggest team, we've been pretty good at, but they've gone against us. So we need to tidy up on those details around stuff like that. But again, that will happen in games. For me, it's more about we can play better. We can play with a better energy, and be a little bit braver. Our line can be a little bit 5-10 yards higher. We can get on the ball more, and I think that will make us play better. And then you play better, you'll get results.
And whilst there has been that disparity between home and away in terms of results, not necessarily the performances, is it important that we don't become overly reliant on the home form?
Yeah, I mean you can't just be reliant on one, obviously, because we need to pick up more points away from home, obviously, if we really want to be challenging and be up, competitive in that sense. But but equally we've been exceptional at home, so we sit ourselves in a really good position in the league right now. So yeah, it is what it is. It's something, there's always going to be something that pops up that you need to improve upon. I mean, the fine margins of it are that we're 1 minute away from another good away point, because you know, when you're not at your best and you can get something, you would say, well, that's a good end to the game, and we scored a good goal. The goal we scored, as I said to the players today, was probably one of our best goals of the season. We've gone from our 6-yard box to their 6-yard box, made 12 passes, cut straight through a team and crossed it and tapped in at the back post. It was top 3 for me in terms of a team goal this season. There was probably about 8 players involved in it. So, and it was great to see us under that pressure, playing the way we play, very recognisable, all the patterns we work on, everything there, winger to winger cross, brilliant. Excellent goal, and it would have been a great end to a scrappy game, but it wasn't to be. But that's the pain of defeat in football terms, as hard as it gets, last minute winners, but we've all had them for and against, so you have to be strong and recover from it.
And that was probably a big frustration for you, that it probably took us until stoppage time to create that moment that was a very Birmingham City goal, especially under your guidance, that we just didn't quite create enough of those moments throughout the game.
No, we didn't create many. There was one in the first half that, I remember Demarai Gray flashed the ball across goal, no one was there, you know, as an example. We were just all a bit too deep. With that final goal, we were much more connected, we were a lot higher up, the ball comes in, you've got Dimmy crossing the ball, you'd have had Cash as that left back in a higher position, you'd have had Paik in a higher position, you'd have had the 2 strikers both in the box, Linden and Kyogo, the winger in there, midfielders up. So we were a little bit spread out at times away from home. It was like that against Southampton. There was quite big gaps and spaces around, you know. So that's to do with our compactness, and that's something we can improve.
Charlton next up on Saturday, a side that came up with us last season. What have you made of their season so far? I think they made a really good start. I haven't followed all their results. I know they've been on a little tricky run recently, but we played them 3 times last season, so I can predict the game being exactly the same as the other games. Very energetic team, pressing, aggressive. It's Nathan Jones' teams, you know what to expect. He's a good manager, and you know the team's always set up to do that, and they're tough games, no doubt. I remember the one at home, we had to really work hard to win it. So yeah, my first ever win as a manager was obviously there as well against them. So yeah, going to be a tough match against a good team. With the division being as tight as it is this season, is there even more emphasis on remaining calm when we do lose a couple of games in a row? Because there is always that chance to bounce back, and starting this Saturday, a chance to get on another little run again. Yeah,
definitely, we'll bounce back. We've done so many times before. It's again, I think we all say the same thing all the time about the championship. How tight it is, how close it is. So it is what it is. We hate losing. We hate losing, and I feel for the fans, particularly the away fans that have had to travel and keep travelling home without something to show for it. But it was never going to be plain sailing. There's always going to be, you know, stormy seas, and we're going to have to deal with that at times. And we have an opportunity to bounce back this weekend, which is at home, in front of our supporters. So that's what we need to be good at this season.
Alex Cochrane missed the game in midweek against QPR. Is there any update on his availability for the weekend, and how's Willem Willemsen progressing?
Yeah, so Alex has had a positive couple of days, I think, from where he was earlier in the week. You know, he gets through so much, to be fair to Alex. He plays through a lot of niggles that others wouldn't play through, but he's had a good few days, so hopefully he can progress even more tomorrow, but we'll have to see on him. And then Willem's had a good day today because he trained with the team fully unrestricted for the first time since a bit of a setback from his initial injury. So Willem, I feel, will be an important player for us in the coming weeks.
Will he be in contention for Saturday, or is that too soon?
He's got a chance of being, he's available for the squad in that sense, but he's hardly played much football for a good few months.
Alex Cochrane's been rewarded with a nomination for Player of the Month for the Championship for November, and likewise you've been nominated for Manager of the Month as well. Is that just a timely reminder of, you know, how well we have done recently? Yeah,
I mean, I think we hit a really nice bit of form, obviously, and we can't lose sight of that. I think, you know, it's really important to stay positive, confident in what you can do, and what we have to do is do what we're good at, you know, because we're a good team, and you know, I haven't seen anything in the Championship that, you know, for us to be scared of. But you can see how demanding it is and how you have to be on it every single game. But I think Alex has really grown this season as a player, and it got better and better as the season's gone on. And his quality on the ball is massive for us, and hopefully he wins it.
Just finally from me, it's the club's annual Blue Nose Day on Saturday, an important initiative alongside the foundation, helping to raise money and ensuring people in the city have access to fresh food all year round. Since you've been at the club, the community aspect is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what football is. Football's, in this country, football serves the community. Football's what football clubs are. They're more than just a sport, they're more than just a business. They're embedded in communities and societies to serve the wider community, and that's for me, the central role of a football club more than anything else. And Birmingham City is a great example of that, how they, the foundation, the work they do, raising money for people that need it, and I think if anyone's got a spare few quid, get the Blue Noses. That's going to go to a van that's going to feed people that need food, basically, and that's the wonderful thing about football clubs, and that's the power of football. So if the badge can promote that kind of charitable work, then I think it's amazing, and we should all back it and buy a few Blue Noses.
Thank you.